Welcome back to Let's Talk Harlingen. I'm Mayor Norma Sepulveda.
And I'm Cassandra Concilio.
We're here to keep you updated, informed, and connected to your city.
Let's get into it.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Harlingen. This is episode 26, and we are so excited that you are here with us today. Cassandra, it is almost time for the holidays. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. What are you and your family doing to get ready?
Hi, Mayor. I am going to go to Houston with my younger sister. It is her first Thanksgiving as a married woman. And so we
Nice.
decided that we were going to bombard her in her home in Houston. So we're really excited to go to Houston for Thanksgiving, but we really wanted to wish everybody in Harlingen a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And according to my weather app, so don't blame me, there's going to be a cold front, which is going to be in the upper 70s in
Oh,
Harlingen.
wow.
So it's going to definitely feel like
Break
fall.
out the sweaters
Yes.
and the jackets.
Wear your sweater because it's going to
Turtlenecks.
be one of your only chances. And we just really are excited that it's like the holiday season. It's here. We're ready.
Yes, I know. I'm super excited too. Like you, I am looking to see where I can go so I don't have to cook.
Anybody accepting a mayor?
Yes, and so that is something I'm still working on since it's
Oh,
been so
really?
busy. Yes,
No
to
plans
see.
yet.
Well, we always go with family. I'm just kidding. But I know my husband was saying that we should cook yesterday, and I just tried to ignore the
Oh, yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, you definitely were like, I
was
think
like,
Evan has
yeah,
homework,
right. I was like, that sounds
something.
good.
We
What's
got to
your mom
work.
doing? It's like, yeah, that's fine.
Definitely change the subject.
Yes.
And well, this Saturday in the city of Harlingen, we're going to have the Shop Small Saturday. Well, we're going to participate in it. So essentially all throughout the United States, it's a like nationwide Shop Small Saturday. And it's a really a kickoff for the holiday season. And downtown Jackson Street is participating. So we really want everybody to come and buy all their holiday gifts on Jackson Street.
I love that. That sounds fantastic, and I think we definitely need to go out and support local, not just downtown, right? Just all the small businesses
Correct.
in our community. But downtown it's coming along really nice, and it's beautiful already, and it's just fun to kind of walk down
Stroll
with your
down.
yes, almost like a little Hallmark movie, right?
Like our set.
Yes,
That's what we were going for
yes.
in our set.
Yes, and you, as I mentioned earlier, the vibe of Hallmark. Oh, I think everybody agrees here. You look fantastic today.
Thank you. So do you. I know you've been busy. There's so many events
There's a lot.
happening. You go to, ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, and there's always, stuff going on. But
Yeah.
one of the biggest campaigns that we're going to keep talking about is the Harlingen United to End Hunger campaign.
Yes.
And this is the campaign that we kicked off last week to raise money for Harlingen residents to raise funds for the RGV Food Bank. But the money is actually going to be earmarked just for Harlingen residents, but you have to use a QR code. So if you don't use a QR code, it could go to, the RGB Food Bank is good, right, to give money to, but we want to raise money specifically for Harlingen residents. So that's what we're working on right now. And we encourage everybody to give whatever they can, from $1 to whatever they feel inspired to give.
Definitely. And right now we're talking about what we're going to do for Thanksgiving, but the truth is that there's a lot of people that are struggling, right, just to put food on the table. So it's important to remember our neighbors and do what we can to help support Harlingen families. And so, yes, we have the campaign going, and we have a very aggressive goal in what we're trying to accomplish. To be able to help the food pantries in our community through the RGV Food Bank. And it's up already on Harlingen's social media. And we're excited that people are already, feeling the
They're
giving
donating
spirit,
already.
right? And they're donating, and so that's nice. Earlier this week, we were also with HCISD. Two amazing businesses stepped up because we talked about that same need of wanting to help families make sure that they have a Thanksgiving dinner also. And so it's really beautiful to see two businesses come together to say, you know what, we are going to help contribute. HCISD does this all the time. Every year, they give back to families that are in need, and they identify those in ways. They've got the experts, right, that work for them to say these are the families that we've identified that we want to help support. And so they do about 80 turkeys a year. But this year, I got through the Hunger Coalition, having these conversations and just talking about the great need. Two businesses stepped up and donated 200 turkeys. So they had
Wow, that's
280
wonderful.
turkeys, and it was great. And then on top of that, you get all these wonderful nonprofits like the United Way, the Rotary, the Girl Scouts. All these groups came together and said, okay, how can we raise even more funds so that way we can give them care packages to go along with that. And
Oh,
so
that's nice.
they got all the sides and the fixings and everything.
So
So
280 families got a turkey and all the sides and
yes,
fixings for Thanksgiving. That's wonderful. That really is a testament to you have to say, if we have a problem, we got to talk it out and
right.
hopefully people will come together. And thank you to the two businesses that helped. Who were they?
Yeah, so we had Capital Towing and US Tow. So one is for boats, and I think the other's for vehicles and accidents and things like that.
Oh,
And so
nice.
they actually helped throughout the entire region. I think they just gave a little more help for Harlingen, which is okay with
Yeah.
us.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the 2 companies that helped us for that. And, well, really, we just, again, want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. But today's episode, we're gonna talk, we're continuing our city department
Yes.
series, and this department is the Community Development Department. And this department sometimes is known as a CDBG department. I think it's kind of like everybody calls it that. It's just
I call it the Sandy department.
Yeah, the city it's just really easy, right? The CDBG, but it's really the Community Development Department. And this department is led by Sandy Alvarez. And we're going to get in a little bit into detail. We're going to get a lot into detail because they have a lot of grants that they give away that you can come to their department and you can get. So we're going to get into a really good interview with Sandy Alvarez of the Community Development Department.
I'm excited, and I think we should get right into it because this is important information. I'm excited to share it with the community. So, without further ado,
Let's get
let's get
Sandy
into it.
on.
We're so excited to welcome Sandy Alvarez, the City of Harlingen's Community Development Director. Sandy joined the city in 2018 and has spent the last several years making sure our federal housing and community programs run smoothly and reach the residents who need them most. She oversees key grants that help improve neighborhoods, support nonprofits, and provide vital assistance to Harlingen families.
These services have helped many Harlingen veterans stay housed, stay safe, and stay independent, and we are incredibly proud of that work. Sandy, thank you so much for leading these programs with so much compassion and dedication. Welcome to Let's Talk Harlingen, Sandy.
Thank you for having me. Happy
Well,
to be
we
here.
are excited that you are here because your department just does so much great work here in the city. And so, first of all, thank you for all that you do. I know that it is tough work sometimes and time sensitive, and dealing with federal dollars can be a little stressful.
Yes.
So, we thank you
Mm,
for all of your hard work and your incredible team that you have in your department that does, year round and does great work.
Thank you.
So, Sandy, like we were saying, we call it the CDBG department. Can you explain to us what it's really called and what all that whole acronym means?
It is the Community Development Department. CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. So that's actually one of the grants that we administer. The city of Harlingen is an entitlement community for CDBG money and home funding. So it's actually two grants that we get annually. We just have to submit an action plan, of course, on a timely manner, as you said. We have to have public hearings. We invite the community to public hearings so that we know what the needs are before we allocate that funding.
So, for those that are watching at home that don't understand the difference between communities like ours that are an entitlement community and those that are not, can you explain the difference just a little?
Yes, there are actually three entitlement communities in the county. Normally, it would be any community over 50,000 um, in population. The city of San Benito is an entitlement, although they are not at 50,000, but they are the third largest in the MSA. So in Cameron County, it's Harlingen, Brownsville, and San Benito are entitlement. Um, there are a total of 8 throughout the RGV.
Throughout the region.
So, Congress has funded this department since the 1970s. Can you tell us a little bit about? So, is it sales tax dollars that are used, or how exactly is your department funded?
It's actually by formula.
Okay.
It's a formula grant. Both of them, CDBG and home, are both
So it's directly
formula.
from the government to the, city of Harlingen, and then
Yes.
your department administers it to people that apply.
Right. So we actually put out a notice of funding availability early on in the year. Once we find out the allocation amount, we publish it. We put out a NOFA. Nonprofit organizations apply, as well as departments of the city, like the Public Works Department, the Parks Department, the Engineering Department, departments that have projects that need to take place in low income areas. So that is the main focus, is to help the low income areas of the community. So they apply for these grants. Other organizations or agencies can also apply, like Harlingen Waterworks, that sort of thing. We just did a fire hydrant project with them. The nonprofits, as I said, those are limited to 15% of the full amount. So if we're getting $1 million, for example, then we allocate 15% only to nonprofits.
Okay.
So, for those that are watching, federal dollars, there's a lot of concern right now regarding
Yes.
what's going to continue to get funded, what isn't. Um, is your department safe? And if so, what kind of funding do you anticipate moving forward?
Well, to be honest with you, I have been working with CDBG and Home for 20 years plus, and as we say, it's always on the chopping block. Always, every year, we're in anticipation of, are we going to get funded? Are we not? I can't say anything different at this point because it's always been that way. I mean, it is a federal grant. It's not guaranteed.
Right.
Congress has to agree and approve the budgets and all that. At this point, we still have not gotten grant agreements, right, because of the federal shutdown, but it happens pretty much every year. We usually get, I mean, our year starts October 1st, but we don't get our grant agreements until like mid-November, late November. And right now we haven't received them yet, but it should be coming.
So I really wanted you to come on to kind of talk a little bit about the type of work that you do because it's important. I know that sometimes when people are watching the news and they see federal dollars, they think, well, we shouldn't be funding these initiatives, right? We should be using our money elsewhere. But the work that your department does is really important. And one of I think it's Healthy Homes that grant that you have really makes an impact here in our community. And I know it was probably one of the first things that I learned about your department was how this is, really executed within our community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the Healthy Homes program is actually a grant that we got in addition to our annual allocations. We worked with the Special Projects Department, and they applied for this grant. We got $1 million. We're actually the only city south of San Antonio that has this grant. We already have identified about 50 families that we're going to assist. We are going into partnership really soon, hopefully, with the Affordable Homes of South Texas, where they will be administering the construction management of the grant. We identify the families, we deem them eligible, and then we go with them to do the inspections, the initial inspections. They will do the scope of work and then go out for bids. They already have a pool of contractors, so that's great. I'm looking forward to that partnership so that we can get them done. We have about a little over a year to finish up the funds. We do, like I said, we have 50 families identified already, or homes. We have room maybe for another 10 to 15.
So, what kind of improvements do you see with these 50 families, just in general? And
Okay.
for those that are watching, how can they know whether they could potentially be part of the 10 that you hope to serve?
Okay. So I guess there's a kind of a misconception that it's just home repairs in
Right.
general. It's not. It has to be focused on health issues. There are 8 principles. It's keep it dry, keep it clean, keep it safe, keep it ventilated, pest free, contaminant free, well maintained, and thermally controlled. So, and we will look at things like tripping hazards. If it's too hot, too cold, they need an air conditioning or heaters, even refrigerators. Um, there's just if they have allergens, asthma, we can remove carpet and replace it with tile or another type of flooring. Windows, if there's moisture, we can replace windows. We can fix roof repairs. We can't necessarily do a whole roof because the funding is limited. It's up to 10,000 per household or per home. So we can't do very much, but we can touch on the issues that could be potentially health risks for families.
So here in South Texas, we have extreme weather, right?
Yes,
Very hot. And so I know that there's several elderly individuals in our community. Maybe they have one window unit in their home,
right,
and it's the place where they sleep, right? And then the rest of the home, there are issues with potential heat exhaustion, heat stroke.
right.
And is that something that you look into as well?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
I noticed that you said that there had been some families that had been identified. Did these people come to you and apply in person, or how would you be able to get this assistance?
Yes, they come into our offices and apply. Sometimes they just ask, "What programs do we have?" A lot of people just call for home repairs in general, and we'll explain we have this program. We can help with certain areas of the repairs that they need.
So it's an
So
in-person application at the Launcie Hill building?
yes, yes, they come into the Lancey Hill building, 502 East Tyler. We're there.
Is
Um,
it income based?
it is income based. Depending on the number of household members, then there's income limits. We go by the HUD
And
income
what is
limits.
HUD?
Um, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
So the
It's the
federal poverty
federal,
guidelines?
yes,
Okay.
federal guidelines.
So tell us also about the program that you have and you've helped over the last few years. I know that I've had the privilege of handing over keys to a brand new house
Yes,
for individuals here in our community, and that is such an amazing feeling. And obviously, the connection with the school district and things of that nature make it even more special. Can you
yes.
talk a little bit about that?
That is the rehabilitation reconstruction program.
Hmm.
So we could either do rehab to the homes or reconstruct. And the few that we did in the past few years were reconstruction because the houses were in such bad y- situation that they had to be demolished and reconstructed. So for that one, we also have a pretty long waiting list. We do have a little bit of funding right now for it, but it's just not enough. I mean, with the price of the homes these days, we're kind of looking to maybe change the policy up a little bit so that we can help more people instead of just doing like one whole reconstruction. We can do some pretty major repairs if we do like a max of 45,000 or something like that.
Hmm.
That's what other communities are doing now in order to help more families with repairs.
And these are, like you mentioned, you've got a waiting list
Yes.
of folks, and so hopefully, I know we've got an affordable housing project coming into the city,
Yes.
and hopefully that helps other families that may potentially be on this waiting list to have an opportunity at homeownership in another way.
Right.
But you have done incredible work over the last few years, and I know it's been transformative for several families in our community. And so thank you for that. And it's hard working with limited funds because you want
Right.
to help everybody.
Mhm.
But knowing that you've been able to help families over how many years have you been here with the city?
7, like 7
7,
and a
and how
half.
many homes have been reconstructed from the ground up since you've been here?
I would say at least 15 or so.
So it's
From the
pretty
ground up? That's
incredible.
wonderful.
It
Yes.
is, and I think that, um, sometimes people don't know that that's what happens in our community, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of planning
Right.
and, making sure that you're in compliance every step of the way, but it truly is, handing over the keys to someone is and just hearing their stories. I know we went to do, I know we had one, there was a family, and the little boy said, "I'm gonna have a closet of my own now."
Oh,
And I
Yes.
thought that was just so heartwarming, and I thought, like, this is things that Harlingen's doing because 'cause they're going after these funds and making it possible for our community, so
Right.
it's definitely, really, really great work.
I had a question about the nonprofits. So you said that you could fund nonprofits. Which are some of them that you have worked with that you could tell us about?
So on an annual basis, when we put out the notice of funding availability, we give them about a month and a half or so to apply. We have the Boys and Girls Club, Maggie's House, Amigos del Valle, Sunshine Haven, um,
Valley Haven,
Valley Haven,
Sunny Glen.
Sunny Glen, Loaves and Fishes, GASA, Family Crisis Center.
Mhm.
So all these nonprofits apply, and of course the mayor and commissioners we have a we have a board. We go to the board first, and they come up with funding recommendations, and then from there we take them to commission, and then they approve the funding recommendations, maybe change them or not. But these funds help help the city with the much needed supportive services that the nonprofits provide.
Yeah, this department is really unique in the city in that it is completely federally funded, the
Right.
entire department, but they do operate under kind of the city umbrella.
Mhm.
However, you have a great board, and I know they work really, really hard. I remember looking at the binder last year was like this big,
Yes.
and they put in a lot of hours, stay really late for their meetings, and it's really
Yes.
challenging, but the commission has done a great job, I think, in delegating this work to really good people on the board. And I know my appointment has been there for a long time. It was actually Mayor Boswell's appointment, and she wanted to stay on because she loves doing the work there. And it's one of the things that she's real passionate about. And so she's been there for years. So a lot
Yes.
of people with a lot of knowledge and that
Yes.
have been going through this and seeing the decrease of funding and stretching every single dollar. And I was really excited that this time you guys put in so much work. And when it came to the commission just adopted as presented because they're putting in all the time, and I know it's difficult, and so it works out really, really well. And it's fantastic when you've got boards like that that can dedicate their time, that they have a good understanding of what's happening, and making sure that it's equitable for all. So I think it's a really good functioning board that has done amazing work. Speaking of work, let's talk a little bit about the down payment assistance programs that you have. We've got a lot of young families in our
Yes.
community. If they're looking to buy their first home, is there a way that you can help?
Yes, we actually have through the home funding, we have a down payment assistance program, and that's actually for down payment, closing costs, and gap financing. So, what gap is basically the gap between what they can actually afford and the cost of the home. So, we had to change the policy in the past 5 years. As you know, the housing market, the prices have just skyrocketed. So, we went from up to helping families with up to 25,000 per household. We changed it to 40, and then from there we had to change it to 75. So now, a family can get up to 75,000. Um, the bad thing about that is that we get to help less families rather than more,
Mhm.
because now we need to give them a higher subsidy amount so that they can qualify for a home. The homes have to be in good condition. They cannot be fixer-uppers. We don't want to put a low-income family into a home that is going to immediately need repairs or a
Right.
roof or, water heater, whatever that is. Everything has to pass inspection. Sometimes people are like, well, that's a $200,000 home, but that is what homes cost these days, and so we just have to subsidize them
A little more.
at a higher rate. Yes.
And the application for a subsidy of this nature, is it a long process or how would you describe that process?
So normally the way we do it, they don't necessarily come into the office to apply. They go to lenders. So a family has to have, or a person has to have an approved loan, and then the mortgage companies will call us, or if there's somebody that's interested, we tell them, okay, you need to go find a mortgage loan. We can't really recommend anyone
Mhm.
because we're the city, we can't do that. So they need to go find their own loan and their own home, and then come back to us once they have a loan approved or pre-approved, and a home, a contract for a home, and then we start working directly with the lenders and the title companies. It's pretty much like underwriting a loan. I mean,
Yeah.
we look at everything. We look at their ratios. We have to make sure that it's affordable for them. At that point, once the mortgage company gives us a loan estimate, we that's where we determine, okay, well, this is what they qualify for. The house costs this much, and I mean, they have options. They can buy a brand new home, or a home that's already existing. But
Mhm.
like I said, they do have to pass inspection. They do have to put in $2,000 of their own funds, um, and that can be in the form of earnest money. They have to pay for the inspection, the appraisal. So as long as they spend at least $2,000, then we, like I said, we work with the mortgage companies and the title companies through the whole process. They send us, approval letters, surveys, commitment letters, uh, appraisals, everything, and then all the way to closing. So we know when it's going to close, when the homes are going to close. We schedule them and make sure that we send a check requisition to finance with enough time so that the check is cut on the day of closing. And then, of course, we also do the closing documents, which is a subordinate deed of trust, which is like a second deed of trust. We do take a second lien on the home, but it's a deferred forgivable lien. So every year we're forgiving a portion of it until the affordability period is over. So depending on the amount they get, so if it's over 40, between 40 and 75, it's a 15-year affordability period.
Wow, that's
Hmm.
wonderful. I feel that, we've been bridging the gap between businesses with the EDC, and now we're bringing together like the housing and for, community development projects or,
Right.
assistance really through this grant program.
Right.
And I do know that you have a veterans assistance program as well.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to get into the dollar amount that you have, and it's either use it or lose it. So just talk to us about that program.
Okay. So we do have two grants. We have the general assistance grant. We received $400,000 thanks to mayor and commissioners who went and fought for us. 400,000 general assistance. That one is for help with rent or mortgage and utilities. So we've already helped close to 100 families. We've spent over 200,000 already. We should be like at 25% at this point, but we've already reached the 50% plus goal, which is great. Um, we still have room for more. We're able to help families or veterans with up to 6 months of assistance with rent or utilities or mortgage. The rent and mortgage is up to $6,000, so it's either 6 months or 6,000, whichever comes first, or whichever is reached first. And then the one for utilities is 3,000, the max.
Can you
So
get both or is one or the
you
other?
can get both. Yes.
Oh, wow. And
Yes.
so you say Mayor went to go fight for us. Where did she go?
Well, she might be able to say a little bit more about that. But it was with the Texas Veterans Commission when,
Right.
yes, we applied, and they went up there.
It was a real eye-opening experience because, I had, and they do all the work, right? They put in all the work and with special projects department, fill out the application, go after the grants, and, this money has been out there for I mean, forever, but the city had never been on the receiving end of those funds. And so, of course, this commission has been very aggressive in grants, and we want all departments to be able to benefit from these opportunities. And so, they put in the application, and the commission also has like a board that kind of vets everything, and they're appointed, and so that is the board or the committee that Sandy presents to, or city representatives present, and then they have all this money, and they need to decide who they're going to allocate. Right? There's always more requests than there is dollars. And
Correct.
so we were notified that ours had been reviewed, and they were not inclined to fund. And so that was a concern that we and it was, I think it could have been in part because it was the first time that we were applying, and they're just, really taking a careful look, and they want to make sure the funds that they allocate go to communities where they already have the infrastructure in place, and they're going to be able to expend all those dollars. And so I think that was kind of the concern. But Sandy's department gave us all the information that we needed to kind of arm ourselves with the knowledge of what we could get done. And so we went to the commission, and of course I enlisted the veterans, right, on the
Yes.
commission, because they're not going to listen just me, right? But Commissioner Bettis and Commissioner Kinsley, the Marine and the Army veteran, right? And we just went out there and told them about the need. But what was really interesting is that the commission as a whole really understand the need of the Rio Grande Valley and wants to give money to the RGV just in general. And so we were very fortunate to be able to answer the questions that they had. And then one, I think the big selling point, and I tell people all this all the time, is the fact that we do have Sandy's department that have been managing these type of grants, especially kind of like the healthy homes, that kind of lends itself to similar. And so I told the commission, if you give us this money, we're going to expend it all, and we're not going to use it on staff because we already have the staff in place. And so we were able to actually get more money than we had anticipated getting, because we stayed, I don't know, it was like 6 hours or something that we were there. And then at the end, they have this tally, and they have, all these millions of dollars that they're, and each time they allocate funding and the commission agrees, you know, it starts reducing that amount. And so at the very end, they had all this money left over. And I said, well, let's get some of that. And sure enough, the commission was like, well, maybe we can give Harlingen another 100,000
Because we were there.
because we were there in the room.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
It was a definitely a good learning experience. But I made a commitment, and that's why I tell Sandy we are going to expend all of those dollars. They were looking at other grants that they had allocated to other organizations and said, we gave them X amount of dollars and they didn't use it. Why are we going to give them this amount of funding next year? And I said, well, if you give us the money, we will use all of it, and then we'll ask you for more. They said, okay. So this is Sandy's now project, and she's doing a great job. She's exceeding expectations. Where we could be at 25%, she's at 50%. So I think we're doing a great job. And I know that moving forward, that Harlingen will definitely be on the receiving end of these funds if we just keep doing everything that we're doing. So thank you for all the hard work. Let's talk about the other grant that we have for veterans. Can this other one, just before we move on, though, is not based on income. Is that correct?
That one is not based on income, correct?
Super important for those
Yes.
that are watching. If they want to apply and they're veterans, they need to reach out to Sandy's department, because it is not based on income. And sometimes people are just having a hard time, from, maybe, they missed a paycheck. Maybe they're federal workers, right, during that shutdown, and had a delay in their in monies. There's so many things that could go wrong, and this is kind of supposed to be temporary assistance, right? But let's talk about
Correct.
more of the permanent assistance in terms of the home improvements that are based on income.
Yes. So that is the Housing for Texas Heroes grant. That one we did receive 500,000. We're looking to help at least 15 families, 15 to 22. Right now, we've already identified about 10 of them that have come in and applied. They've come into the Lonsey Hill building and applied. And however, we have not expended any funding yet. This is because we obviously it was a new program, and we do have to go out for bids for every home if we're going to spend over $15,000. But we're going to do it regardless. So it's the max for each home is 35,000, and like I said, we've already identified some of the families. We had to put out an RFP for construction management services. And then we did an RFQ to get a pool of contractors that already qualify or meet the criteria to work on federal funds or work with federal funds. Then Affordable Homes of South Texas submitted a proposal to do the construction management services, and they themselves also already have a pool of contractors.
Mhm.
So that's going to work out perfectly for us. They already do that with other communities, not for the veterans program, but for other rehab programs that they may have, other cities. So we're looking forward to that. We will be bringing that to City Commission in early January, or if not the last meeting in December, hopefully. But so we can get started.
Mhm.
So we did already have an on-site visit from TBC. So if anything, it's we haven't touched the housing funds yet, but we will, and we're
Right.
going to get those knocked out as soon as we get into contract with this nonprofit organization. They have a lot of experience. They know what they're doing. So
Mhm.
we look forward to that so that we can get all these houses knocked out.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
I mean, you're helping veterans another $500,000 plus the
Hmm.
400. That's $900,000 that we got allocated to the community. That's an incredible amount that
Right.
hopefully just get the word
Yes.
out there to people need to apply. We
Yes.
have until September of
Six,
2027 or 26.
26.
26.
So
Yes.
still September of 2026 for people to apply for those funds. And I mean,
Yes.
so one of them is income based and one of them is not. So
Right.
you never know which one you could fall into. But I think it's really important for people to understand they should just come by your office
Yes.
and try to
Mhm.
get that
Hmm.
information because you never know what you'll fall under, right? You might be in
Right.
this grant, you could apply for this other grant, but if you know of anybody needing assistance, right, go by the Launcy Hill building to the CDBG department really
Yes.
and get all of that information to see where you would what bracket you would fall under.
Right. Right. They don't know. I mean, a lot of times they just automatically think, "Oh no,
I didn't make it
I
I
or
won't
don't qualify.
qualify." They don't apply, or they don't want to ask for assistance. And I mean, the
Mhm.
money's there for them.
the money is
It
there
is
exactly.
for all of Cameron County as well.
Right. That's, I
So,
think, something we need to touch on because we talk about, being an entitlement community in Harlingen for Harlingen residents, but these specific grants from the commission, the Texas Veterans Commission, are for the entire county. So for those that live in the surrounding areas, I hear it all the time. People will call me and say, "I don't understand why I can't participate in the Harlingen's." Cleanup type of events that we have, or the recycling events and those kinds of
right,
things, or sandbag distribution, all those things that are funded from Harlingen taxpayer dollars. Sometimes people live within our community. I mean, there's people that live down the street from me that are considered county,
right,
and then people that live down the road from me also that are Primera, and so they see their address as Harlingen and they automatically assume that they're Harlingen residents, and there's that confusion that happens all the time. But with this, people from Rio Hondo, Santa Rosa, Primera, Combs, San Benito, anywhere can really come and take advantage of these. We
right,
definitely want Harlingen veterans to show up and to apply, but it's really for all. They all served, and I think this is a good way to give back to those that have done so much for our community. And in addition to that, we want to remind people that veterans can come and apply with you and get the assistance for the mortgage or rent or what have you. And if they're still falling on hard times, they go to the county and they can apply at the county too. So I would imagine you'd be able to give them guidance on that if they come see you and say, hey, you know what? We've exhausted the 6 months, but I'm still, I have got injured on the job and I'm making less than what based on their unemployment status or what have you, and needing additional help, then the county can come in and also help. So here in Cameron County, there are a lot of resources for veterans, and we just want to make sure that they're out there and taking advantage of the opportunities.
Right.
Is there any other kind of area of your department that you think we missed that we should discuss?
Um, maybe the infrastructure projects, or we did
Yeah, the
touch on that.
infrastructure. So city departments can also apply for the funds
Hmm.
and they can help,
Oh, we did
parks,
talk about it, right?
and we could
Yes.
discuss, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, anything else, other
Yeah, you
information you
just
want to?
did a basketball court.
Yes.
Right, we were at a
Mhm.
a groundbreaking earlier this week, and you were there, and some of your board members were there too, and so now thanks to this, generous grant, there's going to be a covered basketball court over at Dixieland, Park. So, we do great for the community in terms of direct assistance, and then there's also these types of opportunities, and they have to be in specific areas within the community, right, to be able to
Yes.
service the community, the demographic that you are focused on. But yeah, lots of, I think that you also did stuff in Vestal Park. So is that
Vestal
right?
Park, Hunter Park.
Is there a project that's coming up that we should have our eye on?
The
Probably the
basketball
The
court.
basketball
basketball courts,
on
yes.
Dixieland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are gonna be fun, and, safe for the community in an area that's needed, definitely.
Yes. And then we've done a lot of lighting also, the solar lighting and
Mm-hmm.
the
On the trail.
yes, well, trail and the neighborhoods also.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing a lot more lighting also with this year's funding. Yes.
Awesome. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. I hope that the community really tunes in and watches this from beginning to finish because lots of good information. But for those that may be super busy and they caught the tail end of this, where can they get more information aside from coming into your office and speaking to you? Where can they get information online or how can they go about getting more information?
They can call us, or it's on our website. From time to time, they put it on Facebook also, some of our flyers. And that's
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Sandy, so much. I know everybody can go to harlingentx.gov and they can click on the community development link. And then I'm sure you have all this information listed and you either apply in person at the Lonzy Hill building or give them a call to see
mhm.
what you can probably qualify for. So we really appreciate it. I know that you're helping, the whole community, not just low income, but really
Mhm.
helping the whole community thrive.
Yep.
And really improving the quality of life for the citizens, so it's really great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We hope you join us again soon with updates. And I know for sure when you expend all of those dollars from the veteran grants, we're going to bring you on so that way we can talk about all the great work that you did. But thank
Thank
Awesome.
you
you,
for being here.
Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We just had a great interview with Sandy with the Community Development Department, and thank you so much, Sandy. Next week, we are going to have a City Commission recap episode, and that's what we do after the City Commission meetings. And we wanted to let you guys know that the city offices will be closed Thursday and Friday of Thanksgiving, and the trash pickup will not be happening on Thursday of Thanksgiving, but they will resume on Friday. So if your trash pickup day is for Thursday, I'm sorry, but it will be picked up on the next route.
Absolutely. And we're so excited to be able to drop this episode early to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. We hope you enjoy time with friends and family and you get nice rest. And we see you next week on our City Commission recap.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
That's it for this episode of Let's Talk Harlingen.
If you like what you heard today, make sure to subscribe on our YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We've got more conversations coming your way. Let's talk again soon, Harlingen.